Good morning, my name is Raechel. I'm a senior at the 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦 in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm an international business and Spanish major as well. Today I'm going to be kind of sharing my experience about going abroad in Madrid, Spain, what it's like going abroad, and answering any kind of questions. So I first heard of AIFS through my Spanish teacher in high school because I told him I was probably thinking about going abroad whenever I was in college, and so he let me know about this provider, and I was so excited because of the cost and with everything that's included with it and all the different kind of locations. At the time I didn't know I was going to go to Madrid, but then I figured, why not go to Europe, and then while I'm there, go to a bunch of different countries as well. So that's kind of why I chose AIFS, was mainly because of the cost, the location, and everything that is included. So I'm going to open up a Q&A because I have a lot of stories to go through, I could talk about, but that can help narrow a lot of it down. So I only took 4 classes. I did a Spanish panorama of the culture and the different regions of Spain. I did a grammar class, business class. It was kind of like an entrepreneurship class, and then I also did a panoramic of Spanish literature. And yes, all of my classes transferred back. Before I left at my school, you have to submit all of your coursework to be approved, and then you have to have it approved through your school, and then you send it to AIFS and they let you go ahead. So and to go a little bit more on classes, I decided to take only Spanish classes. So with that, I had to take a proficiency exam before through the university to kind of gauge what level I was at, and so they could give me a set of courses to choose from that then I could get them approved through my school to then send all that paperwork over to AIFS. You don't have to speak Spanish. I lived in an apartment, which is another one of the questions. I lived in an apartment with 3 other people, and we're still friends, and she took English classes. And yeah, you don't have to be fluent, but I would say as long as you know how to say hello, how are you, and how to ask basic directions, you're golden. I mean, everybody pretty much speaks English, mainly the younger generation, and it's a very touristy city, so they kind of expect Americans, people, and people from other countries who don't speak Spanish, they use English as a common ground based language. So you're good on that. I would have to say probably the public transportation, just because it was we thought, we as in me and my roommates, it was kind of confusing at first, but once you kind of got the hang of it, it was very, very easy, and it's just something that you don't really see here in America. With that, you also see a bunch of different types of people on the metro and buses, so it was very, very funny at some points, just seeing the different walks of life. Biggest culture shock would have to be the meal times. Typically, at least in where I live, we typically have dinner around 5 to 7. That's not the case in Spain. They have dinner at around 8 to 10 p.m. during the normal, and then they have lunch at around 3. And a lot of people will just kind of sit at a restaurant, and they call it merienda, and so they'll just sit at the restaurant with whoever they're with some drinks, and just talk until they feel it's time to go. The good thing about the apartment situation was that you have your own room. You don't have a roommate. You have like apartment mates that you submit a questionnaire for, talking about like your sleep schedule and your kind of like your daily and nightly routine and kind of like how you are as a person as well. And then they match you with other people who chose to do the apartment living that you would mesh well with. 110%. I feel like if I could do 4 months, still felt like I could go longer. So I definitely think that I could, just because I love the Spanish culture and just like how they, view life, and it's really beautiful. They really encourage you to live in the moment, take every opportunity that you can. So, and I took that back home with me, and yeah, I miss it. This question's funny because there was one day that I completely forgot that I was, in Spain, where, the native language is Spanish. So I go about my day and I'm sitting at an 8 a.m. class. So I was wondering man, why is everybody speaking Spanish? So there's that. But I mean, it wasn't that hard to go from having classes taught in English here at CFC to just having classes only in Spanish, because that's kind of how my Spanish classes are here. I will say that they do talk pretty fast, but you can tell them to slow down and they totally understand it. Surprisingly, they were a lot easier than I thought they were going to be, but the Spanish business class gave me a couple head scratches. But I will say the professors there are very, very accommodating, and they know that you are also learning Spanish. I think the one thing that was kind of hard was most of my professors, they knew some English, so I couldn't really communicate through there, so it pushed me to speak more Spanish, to be able to ask questions, deadlines, and all of this, that, and the other whenever it comes to classes and coursework. I did not pick my roommates. However, if you know somebody in the program that is going, you can definitely request to be roommates. I just filled out a little form that kind of stated how I lived and my nighttime and daytime routine and everything, and AIFS put me with the best people. Thank you for following along today, and I hope that I was able to answer some going abroad questions, whether it's about Spain or just going abroad in general. Whether you choose Madrid or not, you will have the best experience ever, and I wish I could go back. To learn more about going abroad, check out the link in the AIFS bio, and you can learn more about that. And then if you have any other questions and want to look at my time abroad, you can follow me on Instagram, and I'll put my link here.